stepping into the batter's box for Auburn on this chilly and cloudy 46-degree late afternoon in Columbia, Missouri, and Lauren Krings slides just low and outside for ball one.
This Auburn lineup has really seen a lot of different people start at the top. KK McCrary wasn't always that #1 batter, but talking to Coach Dean earlier this week, he just says she finds a way to get on base. She walks, she gets hit by pitches. She just does what she needs to do in order to get on base, and that's why she's been so successful so far this year.
Yeah, it's not just the base hits. Team best 10 walks on the season. She could square around a bunt with the speed. Said exactly what you want out of the top of your order. She sets the table for the rest of this Auburn lineup. High and inside. First 3 pitches of the day from Lauren Krings are out of the zone, and Julia Crenshaw wants to quickly have a word.
Another thing about KK McCrary that makes her so successful, she does not strike out a lot. Only 6 on the year so far to start. She puts the ball in play. She sees a ton of pitches. She communicates that through the other teammates, and that's why she's done such a great job, again, at the top of this lineup. She just does what she needs to do. Coach Dean could not talk about that enough.
She played in just about every game last year, had 42 starts, but Mickey Dean said she was a role player last year. She didn't have high batting average. She didn't have much power. When she got on base, that was a plus, but this year there's a reason she's batting in the leadoff spot, and that's because she gets on base a ton. And that's upstairs. 4-pitch walk to start the day for Lauren Krings, and KK McCrary is on first.
The center fielder, number 10, Michaela Packer.
And now steps in Michaela Packer. Not necessarily dangerous power bat, but more speed than just about anybody else you'll see.
Not only that, but she comes back with the most experience in this Auburn lineup. There's a reason she's in the 2-hole. She's been around here. She has as many appearances as everyone on the team. But the reason why she is so effective is, again, she gets on base. When she hits those singles, it's basically like a double because she takes it and she steals that base.
Back throw down to first, not in time to get McCrary. In fact, Mickey Dean said, we prefer her to hit singles instead of doubles because we know she's going to be able to steal second, then she'll steal third after that, and it really throws the defense off because they constantly have to be moving.
Isn't that such a weird thing for a coach to say? No extra base hits, but that single is basically going to be a double.
She lays down a bunt. Krings makes the play and gets the speedy Packer at first. Does her job, though, advances McCrary into scoring position.
Number 22, third baseman, Anna Wohlers.
Leadoff walk for McCrary, down to second on the sac bunt, and now brings up that powerful part of the lineup with the pair of transfers that we've already touched on for Auburn. Anna Wohlers, the DePaul transfer, who was a unanimous first-team All-Big East selection a year ago. First pitch from Krings, hits the outside corner. It's 0-1.
Anna Wohlers so far this year has been squaring up almost every ball that she's been seeing. Mickey Dean talked about it. Even though it might not be falling as much as she would like to right now, she's very consistent. That's why she's in this 3-hole position. She puts the ball in place, she hits it on the nose, and he just knew eventually that all of these balls were going to be falling.
Yeah, it says a lot about that she's hitting 371, and Coach Dean even made the comment that you just said, right, that she's been hitting the ball hard, but they just haven't been falling. If they start falling, what's she going to be hitting, 400, 450?
That's the worst part about this game is you can square up the ball and have such a great at-bat, and it could go right to someone. And when you have that, your confidence could go down even farther than it might already be at. And when you have that least amount of confidence, maybe you're not going to square up the ball as much. But Anna Wohlers has done a great job. She is still batting 370, just 370 that we're talking about.
She slaps that one to short. Jenna Laird makes a play ranging to her left and gets out number 2.
The range by Jenna Laird over at shortstop is a reason why she has been there all 4 years. Coach Anderson talked about it earlier this week. She takes away 3.4 runs a game. That right there could have scored the run if it would have gotten to center field. But Jenna Laird, being that gold glover that she is, she came in, made that play, and saved the run.
When I wrote that down in my notes, and when I went back and looked at that again, I said 3.4 runs a game. Like, I must have written that down wrong. But no, that's what it was. She saves 3.4 runs a game with her defense.
There was a comparison that Coach Anderson made about she plays fearless on defense. She compared it to Cassie Stomo when she was playing left field for the Missouri Tigers, is no matter where that ball is, Jenna Laird's going to get to it. She has such unbelievable range at the shortstop position. That's why she's been a starter for 4 years. And not only that, but she can hit the ball a little bit too.
Swing and a miss from Amelia Leck in the cleanup spot. It's an 0-2 count from Krings, who started the day with a 4-pitch walk, but man, she has settled in and peppered the strike zone ever since. Just upstairs, the Mizzou faithful not too pleased with the call. McCrary on third, a chance for Auburn to jump out on the road here in the top of the first. But a cut miss from Leck, and Lauren Krings with a strikeout to end the inning.
She's the reigning SEC Pitcher of the Year. She's last week D1 Pitcher of the Week as well, SEC Pitcher of the Week. She has so many accolades to her name. Maddie Penta is the face of the Auburn Tigers.
She is just 1 win away from tying and 2 away from breaking the all-time Auburn record for wins in a career. It's currently 67. Jenna Laird lifts it into left field, and an easy play out there for KK McCrary, 1 down. So you just saw Jenna Laird, leadoff hitter, who's great at the top of the order for Missouri, but here comes Alex Honnold, second-team All-American a year ago, hit just around 400. This year, even better to start the season, Brooke, at 422.
When you think of the Missouri Tigers, you think of these first 2 hitters in Jenna Laird and Alex Honnold. Alex Honnold had an amazing year last year in that 2-hole. She had so many RBIs, the most home runs she's ever had. She is by far their best hitter in their lineup and one of their most consistent. There's a reason why she's in that 2-hole for these Missouri Tigers.
You and I did the Mizzou series against Arkansas at the end of last year, and I was looking back at my notes from that one, and Larissa Anderson had a quote about Alex Honnold that she's hitting so well right now that she has to go 2 for 4 every single day for her batting average to not drop, and that's the case again this year. If she goes 2 for 5 or 1 for 3 in a game, Alex Honnold's batting average drops.
Can you imagine that? To be a good hitter in this game, you have to get 3 out of 10 hits. Well, for Alex Honnold to keep her batting average up, she has to get 5 out of 10 hits. That's absolutely unheard of.
A bouncer over to first, pops out of the glove of Leck. The toss over, not in time, and Alex Honnold is aboard with 1 out.
Exactly what you want from the 2 leadoff hitters. Jenna Laird hits it hard, Mitz hits it just a little bit in left field. Alex Honnold makes the defense make a play.
Leck was there, but all it takes is 1 bobble, and that's not enough time to get Alex Honnold at first, who beats out the throw to Rose Roach at second. That does not extend Alex Honnold's hit streak to 13 games, ruled an error. Crenshaw goes high on the infield dirt on the first pitch, and Peralta with the snag, 2 down.
Number 19, the third baseman.
It could have been a 3-up, 3-down start for Maddie Penta, but instead, an error has a runner on first. Still 2 down, a chance to get out of here with Kara Daly, the cleanup hitter at the plate for Mizzou. First pitch is right in there at the knees for a called strike.
Kara Daly comes into this game with so much power and pop. There's a reason that she's in the 4-hole. The only thing that is her Achilles heel is sometimes she strikes out a little bit too much. But as that 4-hitter coach...
Oh, drives that deep left field. You can do that. Kara Daly, 3rd home run of the season, and Missouri has jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the first inning.
I was talking about that power. Kara Daly gets a pitch over the middle of the plate. And when something's that good with this amount of power in Kara Daly, you just know that that thing is going to be lifted off and taken out of the park.
You know, Brooke, you're allowed to strike out from time to time when you have that much power to bat.
And Kara Daly does such a good job in that 4-hole. When she is swinging the bat consistently, she's going to get her pitch. And when that's down the middle like it was, she's just going to take it off.
This is Maddie Gallagher in the 5-hole. Homered for the first time this season on Wednesday night in the midweek game against Kansas City. Year 2 with Mizzou after spending 2 years at South Carolina. Transferred within the SEC to Missouri. Lays off that one. It's a called strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Checks the swing. Didn't matter. It was in there either way. 1-2.
One of the things about Maddie Penta that makes her so successful is when she is able to get up early in the counts, that's when she can pitch almost every pitch that she has. She got a little behind on Kara Daly, and that's why she had to leave it a little bit more over the plate. She's doing a lot better with the other batters.
Strike 3 on the outside corner here to Maddie Gallagher to end the inning, but it is Missouri that jumps over last year's teams. And second inning of work in the circle now for Lauren Krings as she faces Nelia Peralta and fires in for a strike. Peralta, junior from Florida, was a 6th ranked recruit in the nation coming out of Wellington High School in Florida. Was an All-American her senior year, and in year 2 now with Auburn. Bounces right back to Krings, off the glove. Laird makes the play, snaps the throw over to first for 1 down.
This pitch, Krings was able to knock it down with her glove just a little bit to slow it down for Jenna Laird to then pick it up and throw it over to first base. Even just that little change of direction could have caused it to either be a base hit or an out just like that. So very good job by both the defense on that play.
Jenna Laird, the Gold Glove winner a couple years ago at short, a 3-time All-SEC selection. Twice a second-teamer, once a first-teamer. And Isis Tresvik on the first pitch, whiffs right through.
We were talking at the beginning about Michaela Packard and how she has the ability to steal so many bases. Isis Tresvik also has that ability too. Mickey Dean said she has a ton of speed. When she gets on base, those singles are then going to turn into doubles again. It's just finding that consistent piece of her getting on base has been her Achilles heel so far this year.
He said you can hit her anywhere. She's spent most of the season in a 2-hole, and Mickey Dean has now put her down to 6th in the lineup. He said, but I could hit her leadoff, I could hit her 8 or 9 because she can turn the order over. Slashes it foul far down the right field line. 0-2 still. How about the job Lauren Krings has done, though? She allowed a 4-pitch walk to start the day, and since then, she has really settled in.
She is. She's Mizzou's ace this year. It's her job to lose this year, but she has came out against the top teams. She's been that go-to pitcher. She's going to be possibly the Friday-Sunday starter for sure, the Friday game at least. And she's came in. She has that energy, passion, and drive, and the whole team just wants to play behind her.
Tresvik making her battle right now, has fouled off a couple 2-strike pitches. Krings is a high velocity pitcher. She sits 68 through 70. There's times she can get in the low 70s as well. Can blow it by you, but then has a couple off-speed pitches to really change up the speed. And got her chasing in the dirt this time. Crenshaw down to first. It's the 2nd strikeout of the day already for Lauren Krings.
Here's that drop ball that Coach Anderson was talking about that she has developed over the last couple of years. It is a couple miles an hour slower, starts really low in the zone, and when it's able to hop in there like that, it is so hard for these Auburn batters to stay off balance. Crenshaw does a great job keeping that ball in front, clearing that runner, and getting that out over at first base.
2 strikeouts on the day for Krings, who's had at least 4 in 5 of her 10 starts this season. Mariah Penta loops it onto the right side. Charging is the second baseman. Gallagher can't make the play. Throw to second. And they're saying foul ball. They might have had her out at second, but it was a foul ball called. I thought live, Brooke, it looked like it hit in fair territory. We're going to see here. Oh, yeah, that's plenty fair.
I agree with you on that play as well. And if not, Maddie Gallagher did also touch it in fair territory as well. So that was a missed call by the umpires for sure.
Not getting a look at it here, so tough break if you're an Auburn fan, lucky break if you're Mizzou. For what it's worth, it looked like she was thrown out at second, so maybe that's what you can say, but that definitely should have been a fair ball for Mariah Penta. Hit right to Jenna Laird on a liner, and it's caught by Laird. Bottom of the second, Missouri up 2-0 on Auburn. Top 25 matchup in Columbia, Missouri to kick off SEC play, the 24th all-time meeting between Auburn and Missouri. Auburn leads the all-time series, but here in Columbia, Missouri with a slight 5-3 advantage. 6, 7, and 8 due up for Missouri, and Katie Chester offers at the first pitch and loops it out of play, foul.
I want to talk about an improvement from that last year to this year. Katie Chester didn't play a ton of games, played a little bit last year for the Tigers, but she has came in and she is hitting .341, one of the highest on the Missouri team, and she has done such a great job in that DP position of just finding ways to get on base, scoring those runners. Showing a little bit of pop this year too.
150 points better than last year, Brooke. She hit 190 last year as a freshman. You mentioned the .341, one of the top batting averages on this Mizzou team. Feels like a completely different player in her sophomore season.
Coach Anderson talked about her maturity from her freshman year to her sophomore year. As a freshman, she's just trying to figure out how to get in the lineup every day, how to stay consistent. But now that she has faced that SEC competition every single day of last year, now she's coming in this year with so much more maturity, confidence. She's way more relaxed, and you can see it in her numbers so far this year.
Already matched her home run total from a year ago, has surpassed her RBI number, lifts it into shallow center field. That's Packer comes charging in, and the right fielder Tresvik makes the play.
So far, the Missouri hitters does not feel like they are seeing anything from Penta that they cannot hit. They're staying aggressive, anything in the zone. Penta has to do a little bit better job making sure that she keeps these Missouri hitters off balance, because so far, every single pitch that she has thrown, the Missouri Tigers seem to be almost on it.
Kara Daly had the big swing, the 2-run home run in the first inning to give them a 2-0 lead. Madison Walker, true freshman from Kansas, at the plate. Larissa Anderson told us she's going through that freshman slump right now, right? Freshmen will always have ups and downs. They'll struggle at times. They'll be good at times. So she's just trying to work through some of that freshman stuff, if you will.
And we want to talk about pop with Kara Daly. Madison Walker has the same amount of pop as Kara Daly, but the only thing that's holding her back is she's just swinging at balls out of the zone. We just saw it right there. Ball in the dirt, ball over her head. Before that, she's a little bit too aggressive instead of knowing her zone, staying in that batter's box. But when she gets a hold of that thing, she has much power, if not more, than Kara Daly.
Fouls it straight back. It's 1-2. She's still hitting .273 on the season too, Brooke. I mean, when you're talking about your first 4 weeks of your freshman season and acclimating to not only college softball, but SEC softball, the best conference in all of college softball, to be hitting .273 in your true freshman season, that's not bad by any means.
It must mean something if they have played 20 games so far this year and she's had an appearance in every single one of them. Must mean something to the coaches.
Got out in front of the off-speed there for the strikeout. Second today for Maddie Penta.
Did a really good job after this last pitch that Madison Walker fouled off. Came back with an off-speed a little bit lower in the zone. Had freshman Madison Walker a little bit out in front of it. Great job by Penta coming back after that.
Penta's allowed just the one hit, the home run. Shantice Phillips. You said it a couple batters ago. They are going after first pitches. They're not sitting back and waiting on anything from Penta. They're aggressive in the box right now.
that has to be something that hitting coach Jeff Cottrell saw in film and every game that they watch. They are aggressive on all of these fast pitches to start. Maddie Penta hasn't thrown an off speed at the beginning of the counts very often, so why not go after that hard stuff if she wants to get ahead early in the count, which almost all of the Missouri batters have done.
Holds the hands this time, 1-1. We mentioned Jeff Cottrell, and what a year it's been already for Missouri. This is year 2 as the hitting coach, and this offense has taken a massive jump this year.
Just the difference between last year and this year, not only average-wise, but numbers-wise as well, has done.
Shauntees Phillips rips it into left field, her first hit in the last 4 games. And there's a runner on board for Mizzou with 2 down in the second.
Trying to find ways on base. That's what Shauntees Phillips has done. Going back to what Jeff Cottrell has done for this team, he has found ways to get the best out of every single one of their players. Last year was a training process. They had to go through those ups and downs as the team. But Jeff Cottrell has such open communication between him and his girls. They talk about every single at-bat, every swing that they have, and they don't panic on their plan when they come into this. They know what they are going to expect from these pitchers, and they've done such a great job so far this year adjusting as the game goes on.
Penta's first pitch into Kaylee Langer, the 9-hole hitter, is in there for a strike, 0-1. Panic was the word that Larissa Anderson used too when we were talking to her yesterday, that she said, I don't panic. She said there were times last year I would when our offense wasn't getting hits, we weren't getting runs. But she said what this team has done this year and what Jeff has done as the hitting coach, that has completely taken that panic away from not only the girls, but from me too.
You can see it when they're in the batter's box too. There's so much confidence exuberating from every single one of these players. They're aggressive on good balls in the count. They want to go after every single pitch that they can see, and they have done such a great job so far this year, and it all attributes back to Jeff Cottrell.
And before the pitch, a called time. Slapped foul. Kaylee Langer keeps herself alive at 0-2. Runner on first is Shauntees Phillips. A 2-out single, and now Kaylee Langer trying to turn the order over to the top with Jenna Laird in the on-deck circle. And that's too tall. A ball and 2 strikes with the leadoff hitter coming up next if she can work her way on board. That's in the dirt. Phillips stays put on first. Kaylee Langer does such a nice job, Brooke, too, of knowing her role is turning the order over to the top. Doesn't try to do anything special, but she wants to get on base, let Jenna Laird and everybody else behind her come up.
Absolutely, and if you have that mentality as a 9-hole hitter, you already know you have success up and down the lineup 1 through 9.
And she'll do her job perfectly. Rips it into left field. 2 runners on with 2 outs, and the leadoff hitter, Jenna Laird, coming to the plate.
This is the situation that Maddie Penta did not want to get into. 8 and 9 batters, you want to go and you want to attack them. But the Missouri 8 and 9 hitters did the same thing as well. They attacked, found pitches in the zone, they're hitting it hard, and they turned the lineup over to Missouri's best 2 hitters in Jenna Laird and Alex Honnold.
Mickey Dean is out to talk with Penta and Elkins, the catcher, trying to get out of this inning here in the second with 2 down and 2 runners on. And as if Jenna Laird's .390 batting average alone wasn't good enough, she gets even better in situations where they need her to get hits. I mean, look at that. Runners in scoring position, almost 400. Runners on base, over 460. I mean, she comes through in the big moments, Brooke.
We talk about Alex Honnold being an overall great hitter. We don't give Jenna Laird enough credit for it as well, too. She is an excellent leadoff hitter, but on top of that, she knows her situation as well, too. Her numbers are insane to start the year between her and Alex Honnold. They are leading the way for this Missouri Tiger offense, and you can just tell that everybody has increased that confidence because of the two of them.
Laird a little under 400 on the season, Honnold a little over 400. Those are the top two hitters in this Mizzou lineup. Penta catches the outside corner, 0-1. She's gotten ahead of most batters she's faced, but these Mizzou Tigers have stuck with it, gotten a couple base runners, a couple hits when they've been behind in counts. And Laird fouls it straight back, 0-2.
I'd like to go back on that stat and see, of those first pitch strikes, how many of them have been swung at. Because this Missouri Tiger offense is on time with everything. Anything that is in the zone for Maddie Penta, I feel as if they're going up there and just attacking anything that they can. They've gotten into a lot of 0-2 counts, but Maddie Penta hasn't done the best job at keeping them off balance, and they were able to attack on all of them.
That's in the dirt to Laird. She holds off. It's got to be, of the 8, it's got to be a minimum of 3 or 4 that I can think of off the top of my head. I wouldn't be surprised if it was closer to 5. I mean, they are going after first pitches.
And that is so shocking to see, especially from the reigning SEC pitcher of the week as well, too. But Missouri has a plan, and they've stuck to it so far.
Slow roller to short, fielded by Peralta, zips it onto first, and safe is Laird. Amelia Lett comes off the first base bag immediately, saying that should have been out.
Jenna Laird's job as that leadoff batter is to get on base and get it over to the All-American Alex Honnold. She made sure to get down that base path pretty quickly. I believe we're going to see a review
Auburn
at this time as well.
challenging the play at first base. The call on the field is safe.
So Auburn has elected to challenge the call at first base. As of now, Jenna Laird called safe, and there's bases full with the most dangerous bat in the Missouri lineup coming up in Alex Honnold. Ball in the glove. That's bang, bang. Oh, this might be better. I think she's out, right?
By just a hair. If you want to look back and be that old rule, tie goes to the runner, I don't know if that necessarily is going to happen here, but I think she just got her. By the time the ball reaches the back of the glove, yep, she should be called out.
And the important thing is to call in the field was safe, so you have to have clear and obvious evidence to be able to overturn it. But I think from that look, you could pretty clearly say foot was off the bag for Jenna Laird.
Think about how huge of a play call this is going to be. If she is safe, you have Alex Honnold, who already has gotten on base one time already today, but is the most dangerous bat in the lineup. It is so important one way or the other. If Auburn gets out of this inning, it's going to be huge for them, but for the Missouri Tigers, this is the exact situation you want.
After further review, the call has been changed to out.
So there's the call we thought we were going to get. Call has been overturned.
And that's just how the SEC conference is. Every single weekend, week in, week out, you're going to face a top 25 team, if not a top 25 RPI team as well, too. This is how stacked this conference is this year, especially with how many wins and losses that every team has had so far. It's going to be quite a battle.
Every SEC team plays 8 weekend series, so 24 games in total. And when Mickey Dean told us this, I didn't believe him at first. I had to go back and look at it, but he said 21 of our 24 games, meaning 7 of our 8 series this year, are against teams that are ranked higher than us. And that is insane when you think about it, because they're a top 25 team in the country.
And they have been one of the best teams in the country as well, too. They have a very, very good record. And it's just amazing to think about that. You're going to face 7 teams that are better than you in that conference, which is amazing, and that's why the SEC is one of the best conferences there is in the nation.
You say amazing. Mickey Dean's saying, I don't know if I would use amazing as the word he would pick. That's in there to Shelby Elkins. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
But at the end of the year, when the when the tournament directors for the NCAA do pick those tournament teams, they're going to look at teams in the SEC just because of, one, RPI, strength of schedule, and how they're going to play top 25 competition day in, day out. That's why a lot of these teams usually make it to postseason, just because of the competition that they face every weekend.
I mean, I think that's pretty prevalent in what we just saw last year. You said that the committee is going to look at SEC teams. Last year, Missouri finished 13th in the SEC out of 13 teams in the conference, and they made regionals.
But that just tells you their strength of schedule was one of the best that we have after we just saw this strikeout from Lauren Krings. But the NCAA is going to look at the SEC every single year because they play hard competition. Their RPI right now is number 4 in the SEC. And on top of that, you see all the other SEC teams in there as well, too.
LSU 1, Georgia 2, Missouri 4. 3 of the top 4 teams in the RPI are from Missouri. And so if you're asking, well, what is the RPI? This is what it is. It's a percentage of breaking down 3 different things to get what you should be as the top teams in the country. Your win percentage against Division I teams is 25%. Your opponent's strength of schedule, meaning how good are the teams that your opponents are playing, is 25%. And half of it is your own strength of schedule. And Missouri has really challenged themselves in the non-conference to start the year, Brooke. It's not 18-2 as an inflated record. They have the second strongest strength of schedule in the conference.
They do. And a lot of people at home are probably going to be looking at, well, what is RPI? Like, why does it make that much difference in the end of the year? Well, to be honest, I didn't know what RPI was for the longest time as well, too. But it just tells you how many hard teams you're playing in the year and how many wins that you're going to get from that. So, again, Missouri Tigers, number 2 strength of schedule in the nation. They've done a great job, and it's only going to increase because of the conference they're in as well.
Rose Roach whiffs after it, chased it outside. It's quickly 0-2 from Krings.
You can just hear the pop of the glove coming off of Crenshaw. Lauren Krings has it today. You can just tell. And Rose Roach is late on that outside pitch. Lauren Krings so far getting ahead to almost every batter that she's seen except for that poor pitch walk to start.
Looped down the left field line, and it tails foul just past a diving Phillips. 4-pitch walk to start the day for Lauren Krings. Since then, 7 straight batters retired, has not seen a base runner since the leadoff batter in this game. Rose Roach, the junior second baseman. Very similar to what we talked about with Kaylee Langer at the 9 spot for Mizzou. A batting average over 300, and you're seeing that more and more all the time now. You want somebody that can get on base and turn it over for the top of your lineup to have somebody on base.
But not only that, they accept their role in that 9-hole. Is they might not have the best numbers, they might not have the most power, but they do a job. And when they're able to do the job and hand it over to those 1 and 2 hitters, that's what is keeping them in the lineup day in and day out.
Slides outside from Krings, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Already 3 strikeouts today for Lauren Krings, who's coming off her best performance of the year. A complete game against Nebraska last time out, allowing just a run. And a great battle here from Roach. Foul tips it, stays alive. Here comes the 7th pitch of the at-bat, just below the knees. Full count. Slash right back up the middle off the leg of Krings, who keeps it in front and got her. A little more painful than the usual out, but an out nonetheless. Bama for the second of a 3-game series in Rhodes Stadium, with coverage beginning at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. So top of the order now for Auburn as Lauren Krings, one round through the order, did not allow a hit, allowed just one walk to the person that's in the batter's box right now, KK McCrary. First strike today that McCrary has seen from Krings, 1-1.
I gotta think if I was KK McCrary, I was gonna wait for that strike to come across first before I even start swinging the bat. But now she has the ability to swing free. Sees anything over the middle part of the plate, go after it.
Especially the way Krings is dealing since that leadoff walk. 8 straight batters retired, not much hard contacts. I say that right after we saw a ball that was ripped right up the middle off of her leg.
But that's the thing about Krings is she's going to come back and she's going to attack this next hitter even if the one before that was smoked. And she's done that so far of making sure to get ahead of these batters. Maybe only a couple so far to start the game, but that's what makes her so successful. Popped
up, stays in the infield. Jenna Laird, the shortstop, makes the grab to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the third here in Columbia. 2-0 Missouri on top of Auburn. One time through the order for Missouri, the bottom of the order has actually done most of the damage. 2 of the 3 base hits have come from the 8 and 9 hitters, Shantice Phillips and Kaylee Langer. The 0-1 to Crenshaw, smokes it down the line and fair. Crenshaw's thinking 2, she's there easily. A 1-out double for Julia Crenshaw for her 6th of the season.
And that comes in that situation when she is already down a strike. Coach Anderson talked about earlier in the year, Julia Crenshaw is actually a better hitter deeper in the count that she goes. Coach Anderson says it drives her crazy that she takes 1-2 strikes in at bat, but she does such a good job in that count because she has already seen and prepared for those pitchers before. She was down a strike there, she comes up with a double.
A cleanup hitter now, Kara Daly, who's already homered today, a 2-run shot in the first inning. And she's going after the first pitch here on a foul ball. This is right before that home run. You were talking about the one negative spot in Kara Daly at the plate is she's prone to striking out. She led the SEC last year. She leads Missouri this year with 16. But that's kind of the give and take that you have with power hitters. When they can leave the yard quite effortlessly like she did there, strikeouts are going to come sometimes.
We see that a lot in Major League Baseball as well, too. A lot of players are up there because they have that it factor and that pop that just cannot be taught. Yeah, they might strike out, might miss a little bit more, but this is exactly what Kara Daly does, is she hits the ball hard when she gets a hold of it. And we saw that in her first at bat today.
Daly lifts this one, but it stays well in the park in left field. McCrary with the grab, 2 down.
You heard the Missouri dugout there when she hit that up. Everyone had that, almost like it was about to go out. Like every time that it comes off of Kara Daly's bat, that's what you think is going to happen, is it's going to go out. And this time might not have gone as far, but they were expecting it over there in the Missouri dugout.
Maddie Gallagher holds off, but it was on the outside corner, a called strike. And Julia Crenshaw is into third.
This was a great read at second base for Julia Crenshaw. You can tell that her leads were getting off a little bit farther every time, and this time just got away from the catcher just a little bit, which helped her advance over to third base.
In the dirt. It's a really nice job by Elkins to keep it in front of her, keep Crenshaw placed at third. 2 down in the inning. Penta trying to get the final out. One and 2. Chance for Mizzou to stretch this lead to 3 runs against a first-team All-American from a year ago and the SEC Pitcher of the Year, Maddie Penta. The 1-2. Off speed, that's bounce foul. Gallagher stays alive.
Talking about another difference between last year and this year is Maddie Gallagher. This is her first full year in the system with the Tigers after transferring over from South Carolina. Her numbers are already better, if not the dramatic difference between the two of them. Maddie Gallagher has such a good eye at the plate. She has some of the most walks on the team. She controls the zone very, very well. And that's why she started off at the beginning of the year in the 9-hole. Now she's in the 5-hole. Just of her ability to see good pitches, to attack good pitches. Her numbers are up so much from last year, like we talked about before. And entering tonight, she comes in 364 batting average. RBIs almost as much as she had last year. Probably going to eclipse that by the time the season is over. On base percentage, just a major increase from last year.
Check swing, diving play at third. Anna Wohlers with the snag to save a run. Dean is down with Kylie.
Coach, you're only down by 2. How do you get the bats rolling from here?
Well, we just got to continue to have good at bats. We've hit some balls hard. They've gotten caught. They hit one hard that wasn't caught. That's the difference in the game right now.
What is this matchup in the SEC?
You know, the SEC's tough. To go on the road's even tougher. So we just want to stay close. We want to work, keep working, stay close, and give ourselves a chance.
All right, well, thank you, Coach.
Appreciate Coach taking the time to join Kylie. His Auburn Tigers down 2-0, top of the 4th, and really haven't got anything going at the plate. 9 straight batters retired, Brooks, since the leadoff walk from Lauren Krings all the way back in the first inning.
This is the inning where Auburn has their best chance and their best part of the lineup up right now to try and do some damage, starting with Michaela Packard. She's able to get on, then turn it over to those 2 transfers who has had the most impact so far this year for the Tigers.
Michaela Packard with so much speed. 6 stolen bases on the season. When she gets on base, you know she's taken off, and she gets on base a lot. Over 500 on base percentage. The 1-0, check swing, foul ball. And got a piece of Julia Crenshaw off the deflection.
Talked about this earlier. The little bit of temperature makes such a difference, and got her right in that leg when she has that knee down when she's catching there, and you got to know that that doesn't feel good.
46 degrees at first pitch about an hour ago, and in you and I's expert opinions, it's gotten colder since then.
We have the windows open up here. We thought it was going to be a beautiful night. Turns out it's gotten a little bit colder than we expected tonight.
Reading the lips of Julia Crenshaw, that hurt, she said. Hey, there we are. Day 1 of 3 here at Mizzou Softball Complex for a pair of top 25 teams in the country. Auburn 12-2-1, Missouri 18-2. Best start in more than a decade. That slides inside from Krings to Packard.
After just attacking that inside pitch with that foul ball, they go right back to it. A little bit farther inside this time. Michaela Packard has done such a good job of making sure she gets those balls over the middle heart of the plate and attacks it from there.
Checks the swing here, holds the hands. 3 balls and a strike.
Definitely not a call that the Mizzou faithful here liked. They thought that one was a strike.
Fans letting the umpires have it right now. Here's the 3-1 from Krings. That's in there. Full count. No hits allowed for Krings in 3+ innings. A walk to KK McCray to start the day. 9 straight sat down, including 3 strikeouts. That hops in the dirt. Second walk allowed today for Krings, and it's to the leadoff batter, Michaela Packard.
not the one that she wants to walk as well. We talk about this all the time, the speed of Packard over at first base. You have a lefty up at the plate. It's going to be a hard view for Julia Crenshaw to try and get that runner out. It's a perfect situation for Michaela Packard to get on, now that she's on base, to get that stolen base.
And Mickey Dean said she puts so much pressure on a defense. They can't just think about only the batter, because she is a threat to take off every single time she's on base. Anna Wohlers, the 3-hole hitter here. DePaul transfer. Second team All Big East as a freshman 2 years ago. Unanimous first team All Big East last year. And now in year 1 with Auburn, hitting in the 3-hole. 1-1.
This might be a situation for Auburn, maybe not to send Packard as well. Now you're down by 2. You want to try and get a run across here, but with the speed that Michaela Packard has, why not try and send her? You got a lefty batter up that's going to be hard for Julia Crenshaw to see.
Doesn't take off again. It's 2 balls and a strike. And I think anytime Michaela Packard's on base, you want her taken off. Second most stolen bases in a career at Auburn, 16 behind Shannon Anderson for the most all time. When she's on base, she's going to take off.
And that in itself speaks so much. She's going to have a very good year this year, over 20 stolen bases in order to even beat that record. But she has the ability to do that. She did that her freshman year, 20 plus. This is the healthiest that Mickey Dean has seen her in the 4 years that she's been here. And she has the ability to do it. Just got to find those right situations to send her.
That's a really good point. She spent the last 2 years injured, and Mickey Dean said first time really since her freshman year that she's been fully healthy. What'd she do her freshman year? Well, you just said it, 20-plus stolen base season when she was fully healthy. Already has 6 through the non-conference schedule this year. 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Anna Wohlers.
We were talking about it before, how much pressure she puts on the defense. You can see Julia Crenshaw is not framing those pitches that are super close because she wants to make sure that she is staying on Packard the whole time. This is the little things of the game that makes people think a little bit more, maybe not get those strike calls on the corners.
3-2 is slashed foul. These are the kind of things that can really get Auburn going. You got Michaela Packard on first, nobody out. Your 3-hole hitter is piecing together a really good at-bat, about to see the 7th pitch.
And she had a good at-bat already. She hit it straight up the middle. But when you have a Gold Glover over at shortstop, it's really hard to get anything past those.
Called strike 3. Packard takes off. Bull rolls into second. Now Packard over to third. So the batter is out on the strikeout, Anna Wohlers, but Auburn gets exactly what they want. It's a stolen base from Packard, and then she advances to third.
You see Julia Crenshaw almost hesitate there, and when you hesitate with Michaela Packard over at first base, it's almost nearly impossible to get her. But Michaela Packard does such a good job seeing that ball in the outfield. She ran into Jenna Laird, so she would have had the obstruction call, but she had that base all the way once she...
See for the first time in 16 years. Leck smokes it into the gap in left center. Packard's in to score. Auburn's on the board, and Amelia Leck dives into second with an RBI double.
We talked about her at the beginning of this show. She has such tremendous power. We saw it right here. First pitch, attacking with that runner on third base, gets a pitch on the inside part of the zone. She's got 17 RBIs. Make it 18 after this. There's a reason she's in that 4-hole and she's had so much success. She gets that ball in the gap, scores the run, and gets herself into scoring position as well.
Those 18 runs driven in, most on the team this year for Auburn. Eight of her 11 hits on the season have been extra bases.
Number 18, Riley McNamara will run at second for left.
Riley McNeamer is the pinch runner for Auburn. So still only one out, runner in scoring position, and Peralta bounces it right back up the middle past a diving Laird. Honnold has trouble coming up with it. Auburn has tied the game at 2.
This was the part of the lineup that we talked about can cause so much damage for the Auburn Tigers. Starts with Michaela Packard getting that walk with the stolen base. And then after that, you have your 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming up, being so clutch, attacking the inside part of the zone. Alex Honnold has a little bit of trouble out in center field, fielding that ball, had no chance of grabbing her at that time. But a great, great job by Nelia Peralta coming up clutch when she needs to for her team.
Back-to-back RBI base hits for Auburn. They turned a 2-0 game into a 2-2 tie here in the top of the 4th. Martin comes in as the pinch runner at second. Isis Tresvik at the plate for Auburn. Auburn started this 4th inning down 2-0, but with only one out, the go-ahead run is in scoring position for Tresvik. Cuts right after the first pitch, 0-1.
Tresvik comes in with the most at-bats on this Auburn team to start this year. Her numbers, again, do not look amazing on paper, but she is one of their tone setters for this team. We talked about earlier, she's been in that 1 hole, she's been in that 2 hole, in the 6th hole today, but this is one of the ones that I believe Auburn wants up at the plate in this situation.
Usually when you get taken down in the lineup, it's because maybe you're not producing or something like that. Coach Dean told us it was quite the opposite. He didn't want her in the 2 hole to have to focus on bunting. He wanted her to feel the freedom of being able to swing all the time.
And when you have that freedom in the bottom half of the lineup, that just gives you so much momentum and confidence for the other part of your team. Here she just missed it, hits the second baseman, but she has done such a better job so far this year when she's had that freedom at the bottom half of the lineup. Hasn't quite shown it today, but she has so far this year.
So second out of the inning as Gallagher makes the catch. Lauren Krings in this 4th inning has already thrown the most amount of pitches she's thrown in any inning today at 18. Still has one more out to get. Mariah Penta, true freshman, sister of Maddie Penta, the ace pitcher for Auburn. Hitting .267, but they've been getting her more at-bats recently as the season has gone on. She's got pop, too. 4 hits in the season. 2 of them have been home runs. 3 of the 4 hits have been extra base hits. And she's ahead of Krings 2-0.
A freshman coming into SEC play, trying to get her feet underneath her. At the same time, Mickey Dean doesn't want to overwhelm her a little bit too much. If you do that, it can really cause a confidence drop, especially in these freshmen if they're not doing as well, maybe like they did in high school.
Lifts it in the air, right side, shallow right field. And there's the 3rd and final out as Langer makes the play. But Auburn gets on the board. Kylie Hansen now has Larissa Anderson down on the field.
Coach, how big of a jump start was that Kara Daly home run in the bottom of the 1st?
You know, it's great to get the first run on the board. Kara needed that, absolutely. So it was great to see her being able to jump on that first pitch. We got a new ball game here, so we're going to have to do that a couple more times.
Yeah, they just tied the game. How do you bounce back?
We got to swing at good pitches, continue to what we're doing. I think we're getting really good at bats and swinging at good pitches. We just got to get some runners on and being able to take advantage of those opportunities.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Kylie. This Missouri offense jumped all over Auburn to start the day, 2-0 on a 2-run home run from Kara Daly. But since then, Auburn has tied it up with back-to-back base hits just last half inning in the top of the 4th.
If you're Auburn coming out of that 2-run inning, you got to think we now have our All-American in the circle. She has done a really good job after that first inning of limiting the damage, making sure that there aren't hits back to back. And now that they have tied it up, they've done such a good job at getting that momentum back in their dugout. And with your All-American again in the circle, they've done such a great job.
Chester flies it out of play. Yeah, Maddie Pinta has given up 4 hits in her first 3 innings of work, but they haven't come in bunches. Of course, the 2-run home run is the one that hurts, but a couple singles, 1 double, but runner was left stranded each time. Slow roller to short. Peralta's up with it. 1 down.
This is where you're really going to find what this Missouri team is made of. They started off super hot, first SEC game of the 2024 season, and now Auburn's climbed their way back a little bit. How is Missouri going to respond to the momentum shift into the Auburn dugout? Are they going to give up, maybe not have as good of at-bats as they did at the beginning of the year, or they're going to find a way to keep battling, keep grinding, and find a way to get at least one more run across the board?
Check swing for Madison Walker, the freshman who Larissa Anderson has said at times this year she's chasing pitches out of the zone. A little too eager at the plate sometimes. Bloops over to the right side, caught by the first baseman. SEC Conference Tournament for basketball going on this week. Lots of great SEC sports going on right now between the winter and spring seasons.
In my opinion, the most wonderful time of the year. You start that SEC play for softball. You're getting March Madness coming up here soon. You getting your bracket ready for March Madness?
Oh, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to tear it up in day 1 like I usually do.
That's usually when everything starts going down for me.
Yeah.
If I had to pick this year, you know those Vols are looking real good in the SEC. They might have a chance, but again, it's going to be tough, man. This whole year and this whole basketball season, I feel like has been so up and down. There hasn't been one team that's been dominant. You have UConn, you got Houston. Big 12 has been amazing so far this year. It's going to be really fun.
I'm an Indiana native, so part of me wants to say Purdue, but I don't know how you can say Purdue when they lose to 15 and 16 seeds every year. That's not a great vote, I don't think.
They might have the reigning national player of the year or whatever. That might help in your decision as well, too.
Yeah. Shantice Phillips smokes it into center, but it's Packer again on the run. She's made a couple phenomenal plays in center field today, and we keep today and all weekend long here in Columbia, Missouri.
Though I was talking to you about this before pregame, I would not be shocked if Larissa Anderson did this on purpose. But again, I might be giving her a little bit too much credit at that time, but she loves everything that has to do with this. And it would not shock me if she intentionally got 3 female umpires on SEC opening weekend.
The only all-female umpiring crew in the SEC this weekend. Got a little bit of rain coming down now. First time we've seen that all game today. We'll say earlier in the week, though, it looked like it was going to rain all day today. Not quite the case, so thankful for that.
Instead, we just have pretty cold temperatures and a little mist coming down at the moment.
That is lifted up in the air. Skylar Elkins, the catcher, stays in the infield. It's the shortstop, Jenna Laird, 1 away.
And with these conditions, you have to start asking yourself, the Missouri Tigers might be used to this, but Auburn, coming from Alabama, they might not be used to this cold weather. We say cold weather. For us, this is pretty chilly, but for the Auburn fans and the Auburn faithful, this might be even colder than what they're used to. So is that something that might be factoring in? So far, not, because both of the teams' bats are pretty hot so far.
Rose Roach fouls it off, 0-1. It's one of the first things that Mickey Dean talked about when we were talking about Mizzou. He started by saying, great team, they're well coached, and then he said, and it's always a challenge to go to Columbia this time of year with the weather. So he knew it from the start. It was going to be cold this week. Took his hat off, though, for the sock cap on. Stay warm, I guess. Oh, 0-2 count now from Krings, who's trying to get a bounce-back inning after allowing 2 runs just last inning in the 4th for this game to be tied up. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 5 for Lauren Krings.
After the inning that she had last inning, giving up a couple runs, couple base hits, she has came back and absolutely been smoking the strike zone so far this year. Comes out with that outside rise ball a little bit, gets right underneath of Roach's bat, gets that strikeout.
Top of the order now, though, with KK McCrary. It's upstairs, 1-0. It's a dangerous bat in McCrary, but you got to think Krings just wants to get this out and avoid having to face Packer, because that's where the inning started in the 4th in the 2-run inning for Auburn.
But now thinking on the Auburn side as well, too, this is a great situation with two outs and 2 strikes. If KK McCrary does get out, you're going to come up in the top of the 6th with that part of the lineup that has scored those 2 runs and gotten those base hits. So win-win for Auburn right here. If McCrary can get on, you bring up the hottest hitter in Auburn's lineup coming right up after her.
And Michaela Packer in the on-deck circle. McCrary zips it foul down the third base side. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Chance for a really quick inning for Lauren Krings. McCrary led off the day with a walk. And then after that, Krings retired 9 straight batters before Packer reached with the walk. And then a couple batters later, Leck had an RBI double, Peralta an RBI single. Back-to-back batters drove in runs for Auburn. Still 1-2. Just 2 hits given up by Krings in 4 2/3 innings. 5 strikeouts, couple walks, 1 that came back to hurt her. One, 2 on the way from Krings. Way high, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
With that rain coming down, you got to start to think, is this affecting the way that Lauren Krings is pitching? The last few have missed by quite a few, a little bit high. We've seen those foul balls. They had to throw it off into the dugout. This is something that we're going to have to keep a track and a hold of once the game keeps continuing on, seeing if it actually does affect the pitchers.
Ever affect you out in center field?
A little bit, I'm not going to lie.
Foul tip right into the glove of Crenshaw. Back-to-back strikeouts for Krings. She's got
the one rival is Mickey Dean, just because of the respect that they have for each other and the history that they have. And again, Larissa Anderson might have beat them out in the 2015 CAA championships, but now looking at both of them, both in the SEC, both with a lot of respect, a lot of wins under their belts, they have made their way up to the top of the food chain.
Both with great respect for one another. One of the first things each coach said when we asked about the opposing team, well coached, came up right away. The respect factor that these two have for one another. Laird bounces it right back up the middle, and she's now got hits in her last 5 games.
Wasn't going to be long before Jenna Laird found her way on base again. She has such tremendous hands and such a great leadoff hitter. It might not have been the best pitch that she swung at, but she has that ability to swing at anything inside, outside the zone. That's what makes her so effective, as well as her eye up at the plate as well, too.
And Larissa Anderson said, just watch when she gets on base, too, how different the defense has to play. They have to talk more. They're going to move around. They're going to shift, because she's a stolen base threat. And she said, in turn, Alex Honnold, Julia Crenshaw, Kara Daly, the three batters right behind her, typically get a lot better pitches because pitchers don't want to throw anything in the dirt because they know Laird will take off.
We've talked about Michaela Packard for Auburn. Jenna Laird has the same effect with that ball upstairs coming in, hitting Alex Honnold. This is not the situation that Maddie Penta wants to be in at this current moment. With Julia Crenshaw coming up, has such great eye at the plate, and she also does a really good job with runners in scoring position. This is a very good situation for the Missouri Tigers.
Laird and Crenshaw on base, that's not a surprise to anybody. Those two are on base all the time. And you talk about, rather, Honnold, not Crenshaw, with Crenshaw coming to the plate now. Julia Crenshaw, who's already doubled once today, has a chance in the later stages of this one to give Missouri the lead in the SEC opener.
Julia Crenshaw.
I think it'll be really interesting, Brooke, to see the approach Crenshaw has here, because Larissa Anderson said, I want Crenshaw to be more aggressive. Typically, you don't have to tell your 3 and 4 hitters that, but she said, I need Crenshaw to swing the bat a little bit more.
And she has so far today. She hasn't gotten too far in the count.
Laird takes off. She steals third, and the go-ahead run for Missouri is just 60 feet away.
We talked about that before with Jenna Laird, is she has such a good read over at second base. I don't even think that was a planned steal. She saw it low in the count, and she made sure to get that stolen base. And we saw the Honnold didn't even advance on that as well. So that was all on Jenna Laird, getting at third base, making it a lot easier for Julia Crenshaw to score her.
Her 9th stolen base this season, the most for Mizzou. So runners on the corners, just 1 out for Julia Crenshaw. She said so often, talking to Larissa Anderson about Crenshaw, so often she'll take strike 1 and strike 2 and immediately get down 0-2. And she said, I get so frustrated with that sometimes, but deeper into at-bats that Crenshaw gets, she typically is better off for it.
And where do you hear that? You don't hear that at all. Usually it's success early in the count with less than 2 strikes, but she has done a good job when she does get those 2 strikes, that she is still attacking anything in the zone, and she's found a way to get on base and score those runners.
She foul balls that bunt off her foot, 2-1. Do you like this bunt here, Brooke? 3-hole hitter, chance to bring in a run?
Personally, I don't like this, but she could have been trying to catch the defense off balance maybe a little bit, saw something from the corners, but with the success that Julia Crenshaw has had so...
He has won the last 3. You mentioned Taylor Pleasance. What a year it's been for her already. The only unbeaten left in the SEC and LSU at 19-0, jumping into conference play. 2 balls and a strike here from Penta, and Crenshaw smokes it. Deep left field. Mizzou takes the lead in the 5th.
I was talking about this before. Julia Crenshaw has been seeing it all day long. I wouldn't have bunted her. And this is the exact reason why she got a good pitch up in the zone. She smokes that thing out of here, gives the Tigers a 3-run lead. Ball left too far over the plate. She knew it when she hit that one.
First home run of the season for Julia Crenshaw in a huge moment. Tie game, 5th inning, 3-run shot gives Missouri a 5-2 lead. You think that dugout's excited? And who's up right behind her? Oh yeah, Kara Daly, who also has homered today.
part of the lineup that has been so deadly so far for the Missouri Tigers. You usually think about the deadly part of the lineup for them to be their 1 and 2 hitters, but instead today it's been that 3 and 4 who has came up clutch, and that is so needed out of the two of them.
Bounce foul, third base side from Daly. You know what? I think Larissa Anderson has no problem with it if her 3 and 4 hitters want to become the problem part of the lineup.
Imagine they're 1, 2, 3, and 4 consistently going out there and smoking the ball. We know what we're going to get from Jenna Laird and Alex Honnold. That's who we talk about all the time. But Julia Crenshaw has came on so much this year. She has matured under that first year and under the second year of Jeff Cottrell, and you can just see how much she's blossomed.
You remember when Crenshaw tried to bunt on that at-bat? What was that about?
I don't know. That's, again, there's a reason why I'm up here and Coach Anderson's down there. She might have seen something, but don't worry. Julia Crenshaw made to tell her that, Coach, maybe not the best decision there.
Probably won't be asked to bunt very much anymore. 1-2 skips in there to Daly. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still only 1 out. The 5 runs given up today by Maddie Penta, the most this season. Had 8 straight starts entering tonight with 1 or 0 earned runs allowed. But this Mizzou offense has jumped all over her. Hops in there for a full count. And in fact, not only is the 5 runs allowed the most this season, but it's the most by a lot. Hadn't given up more than 2. And that came all the way back on opening day against Virginia Tech. Got the swing and a miss here from Daly.
Number 1, the second baseman, Maddie Gallagher.
See if Maddie Gallagher can extend the inning here for Missouri. That's already scored 3 runs on the 3-run home run from Julia Crenshaw. First pitch strike in there to Gallagher.
Coach Jeff Cottrell, again, talks to every single batter after their at-bats about what they've seen, possibly what they swung at. He was most likely probably talking about approach there with Kara Daly, maybe being a little bit more aggressive with Maddie Penta, especially after that home run that she just gave up. But he has done such a great job with these hitters. That is the reason they've had so much success, is that freedom to talk to each other, to give each other suggestions. It's not all one-sided coming from Jeff Cottrell. It's coming from both sides. And that's the success and the open communication lines between them. And that's why their numbers from this year compared to last year, a significant change.
There were games, plural, in a row that Mizzou would go last year without scoring runs. They'd come out of games, no runs, maybe only 2 or 3 hits. Today, 5 runs, 6 hits. Got a 3-run lead late in this one against Auburn in the SEC opener. Off to an 18-2 start this year. The pitching and the defense has been really good this year as well. Don't take anything away from them, but the difference from last year to this year, Brooke, fully is the offense.
100%. That is the reason why they won and lost games last year. Their pitchers could have an amazing outing, only giving up 1, maybe 2 runs, and that's good for them. That's good in the game of softball, but the offense just wasn't able to string runs together, get those key hits when they were able to do that. This year, it's completely different. They get more runs, more hits, more offense production than they ever have before.
What an at-bat Gallagher's putting together here. Has fouled off a couple 2-strike pitches in a row. About to see the 7th pitch of this at-bat with 2 outs and nobody on. 2-2 slides outside. It's a full count now to Gallagher. Maddie Penta trying to get out of this inning after giving up a 3-run home run to Julia Crenshaw. Maddie Gallagher trying to extend it even longer. Here's the full count pitch. We'll do it again.
This at-bat by Maddie Gallagher has been so huge for the Missouri Tigers. Yes, they just got a home run and then a strikeout after that, but Maddie Penta now has to pitch more pitches out in the rain, out in the cold, where she can't keep her arm warm, maybe her hand warm. It's a huge at-bat for the Tigers.
Just below the knees and a 9-pitch walk to Maddie Gallagher. Well, we told you earlier that Maddie Penta was phenomenal last year against Missouri in 2 starts. The pair of complete games allowed just 1 earned run in those 2 games combined. Tonight, though, Brooke, a different story. She's given up 5 runs, 3 of them earned in 4 2/3 innings. Just hasn't quite had it like she did last year against the Tigers.
Offensive production for the Tigers this year, we've been talking about it all game, has been so different. But on top of that, they have such a good scouting report coming in, facing the reigning SEC pitcher of the year. They're attacking pitches early in the zone, making sure they're hitting the hard stuff. The changeup is something that they have been leaving alone very well. But again, they have gotten her pitch counts up every inning so far, and she has had to stand out there in the cold, in the rain. Maybe not the best conditions for a softball game, but that's really probably been affecting her more than we know.
Had the really quick 4th inning, threw just 9 pitches, but she's up to 24 already here in the 5th, and has had a couple innings where she's surpassed 20 pitches. One from Penta to Chester. In there, runner takes off, throw, hops in there, into center field. Gallagher stays put. She's got a stolen base.
Great read again by Maddie Gallagher. Low in the zone, takes that base whenever she can, gets into scoring position for a very hot Katie Chester. Now only a base hit is going to score instead of something in the gap.
Yeah, Katie Chester just off the team lead, 17 runs driven in. She has come up big in moments like this with runners in scoring position. But cuts right through that one, chased it high, 2-2.
She wanted all of that pitch. Seeing that there was a runner in scoring position, a little bit up in the zone, she got on playing with that thing. That thing would have been going 300 feet.
She's been seeing the ball really well. Entering tonight was 5 for her last 11. Check swing, she went around though. Strikeout number 4, but Mizzou gets 3 in the inning. Tigers up 5-2. And Shaw. Lauren Krings has been great too in the circle. 5 innings, she struck out 6, gave up those 2 runs that we saw. The good news for Auburn, though, here, Brooke, this is the part of the order that they had when they had that 2-run inning. Michaela Packer leading things off.
It's going to be a very important inning for both Auburn and Missouri. Missouri's got to find a way to keep that momentum on their side. Get back in the dugout, get a 1-2-3 inning, but this is very important for the Auburn Tigers. Get their leadoff runner on, move her over, hopefully score and get her in. That way they can get some momentum back on their side.
Just paints the inside corner at the knees. Great spot from Krings to make it 0-2. They moved Michaela Packer up from the 6 hole up to the 2 spot just last week. They wanted to get her more at bats. They wanted to get her on base for the middle of the order to come up behind her. Chops it over towards third. Daly, the backhand, zips it to first in time to get the speedy Packer.
What a play from Kara Daly. She's been doing it at the plate. Now she's doing it defensively. She was even a little off the line too. And she goes over, makes that backhand play, gets that knee down, a strike over to first base. What a play over there from Kara Daly.
You're talking about 58 stolen bases in the career of Michaela Packard, second most in Auburn history. You have no time whatsoever to react if you're Kara Daly making that play. Anna Wohlers, the DePaul transfer, takes a strike. 0 for 2 day for her today, including one of Lauren Kring's 6 strikeouts. Slashes this one foul. It's 0-2. Davenport, Iowa native. She won 4 state championships. Was the player of the year her senior year. Went and spent 2 years at DePaul, where both years she was named All Big East, and has immediately stepped into this Auburn lineup and had a massive impact. Outside 1-2. Her and Amelia Leck, who is in the on-deck circle right now, 2 transfers. Leck came in from Maryland. They both committed to Auburn within 2 days of one another. Cut on and missed. Crenshaw plays it out of the dirt, throws down to first, 2 away.
I was talking about how important of an inning this was for Lauren Krings, and you can tell in that Missouri dugout how much they love being here with each other. She just gets that strikeout. Everybody in the dugout's going crazy. That Cara Daly play, everybody wants what's best for each other, and that's what I think has been so important about the Missouri Tigers this year. Coach Anderson was talking about it when we were interviewing her earlier this week. Everyone is bought in. Everyone has intent with everything that they do, which was a little different from last year. She just felt like sometimes they were going through the motions, not as much confidence, but they don't have to give any motivation to anybody on this team, and that is the difference between the two. They want to win this year. They have the desire to try and come back from all of those, maybe not as good games as they might, but they've done such a good job so far this year, finding motivations within themselves and pushing each other to be better.
1-1 now to Leck, the cleanup hitter. And I thought the coolest part of that was she said a lot of the buy-in is coming from the freshmen. I mean, those are the ones that are really vocal. They're the rah-rah leaders. She said Jenna Laird, Alex Honnold, those aren't necessarily vocal leaders, even though they're our best players. The freshmen have kind of stepped up into some vocal spots this year.
They have, and even though a ton of them might not be playing very much, they're doing a really good job in the dugout supporting each other, and that's what I think has turned this Missouri team from maybe not the success that they had last year to being even more successful this year. You're going to have Jenna Laird and Alex Honnold who lead by example, but those freshmen, they're excited. They want to be there. They have the desire to get better and push people to be even better on the field as well too. And we see that all of the intent with everything that they do. It is so much different compared to what they were doing last year.
Yeah, she said Jenna Laird isn't vocal, but she empowers those that are vocal to be vocal. That's her leadership style. Does things by example, and wants the others who are the vocal kind of players that do that to be able to stand up and do those things. That is just inside the leg. The Mizzou faithful wanted a cold strike 3, but didn't get it. Man, that was close.
Might have been a little too close to take, for my opinion, but I'm not behind the plate tonight, but the Mizzou faithful wanted that one for sure.
Got her swinging in the dirt. Crenshaw needs to make the throw. Does. It's back-to-back strikeouts for Krings and 8 straight return, but didn't quite have her usual A+ stuff.
She did not, and we got to think that she's most likely going to make another appearance this weekend, just about how many that she's had so far this year, but she wants to come out and attack even more than she did tonight.
Claire Cahalan, the freshman, squares to bunt, but then pulls it back. Cahalan, the freshman this year, just 5 plate appearances, 1 for 5 on the season. Slaps it over to short, backhanded by Peralta. The hop throws in there, and it pops out of the glove. Claire Cahalan is on first.
That's right, Coach Anderson talked about her earlier in this week, just of her pure speed at the plate. She puts it in that 5-6 hole. It is so hard to make that play for Peralta with all of the speed that Cahalan has. She was put in there. She did a great job doing her job getting on base.
Peralta's throw just hopped in there, not quite in time. Brings up Shantice Phillips, squared to bunt, didn't get it down, and they throw out the runner at second. Cahalan's being told to stay there on second by Larissa Anderson. I think Mizzou wants to look at this. They think she got in under the tag.
Missouri is challenging the play at second base. The call on the field is out. We are under review.
That was immediate from Larissa Anderson, too. Tag is there, I think, just in front of the foot, right?
I believe they got the call right on the field. I thought for a second she was going to go and tag the arm, but she went all the way down to the hip. But
After review,
still,
the call is upheld, out.
So very quickly upheld. Cahalan is out on the stolen base attempt. So one down here in the bottom of the sixth and nobody on for Shantice Phillips. No more challenges remaining for Missouri. 5-2 lead, bottom six. Shelby Elkins, the catcher, one that threw her out. Here's the 0-1 to Phillips. Already one base hit today for Shantice Phillips. Here's the 0-2 from Tambora. Swing and a miss from Phillips.
Right fielder, number 99.
Tambora needing to do exactly what she's doing here. She came in with a strikeout after that leadoff single was given up. Defense had her back a little bit, got that first out. She comes back and gets that big strikeout.
Ax Milanowski, the new first baseman for Auburn. Just the fourth appearance this season for Tambora in the circle. He did throw 4 innings last week against USC Upstate, allowed just 1 run on 3 hits. That was her longest outing of her career to this point. To Kaylee Langer, fouled back. It's even at 1-1. Larissa Anderson's team off to an 18-2 start this season, best since 2013. Already a pair of top 15 wins in the country all the way back on the opening weekend of the season. And trying to start SEC play 1-0 here at home tonight against Auburn. Langer ropes it into right field for a base hit. Second base knock of the day for the 9-hole hitter, Kaylee Langer.
Kaylee Langer doing what she said her job is to do. Get on base, turn it over to those big bats, and now we're going to see the top of their lineup again for the 4th time in Jenna Laird.
I mean, Kaylee Langer just doing to perfection what her job is, right? Turn the order over to the top, allow Jenna Laird to come up to the plate. Pair of base hits today for Langer. It's Laird, who extended her hit streak to 5 games. Her last time up was a part of that 3-run 5th inning. Scores to bunt here, but it's foul. If for no other reason, Laird needs to get on base here, Brooke. Alex Honnold has a current 12-game hit streak that she's in danger of losing, and with Mizzou up right now in the 6th, there's a chance we won't see a bottom half of the 7th. No hits, but doesn't mean she hasn't been productive. She's been on base twice, reached on an error, got hit by a pitch, scored 2 of the 5 runs today for Mizzou.
So yeah, her hit streak might be on, but her on-base percentage is crazy to even think about because she gets on in so many different ways, and that's what makes her so effective.
Bounce it to short. Peralta goes the easy way over to second to get the 3rd and final out. 3 outs left. Mizzou's got 5, 6, and 7 due up for Auburn with just 3 outs to work with. Peralta has one of just the 2 hits today for Auburn. An RBI single back in the 4th. That tied the game up at 2, but Julia Crenshaw came up with a 3-run home run in the 5th to give this 5-2 lead. And Peralta pops it out of play. Peralta's displayed a little more power this year, Brooke. She was the leadoff hitter for a majority of the season last year for Auburn, 2nd team All-SEC, drew a lot of walks, got on base a ton. This year she's shown some pop, a couple home runs, a couple extra base hits, and because of that, moved her down the lineup to the middle of the order.
Absolutely, and she's done a great job so far this year at staying as consistent as she possibly can. The numbers might not be there at the beginning, but she has not given up on it. She's moved down the lineup a little bit, but at the same time, she's shown more pop. She's shown more RBI abilities, and she's done a great job. Coach Mickey Dean thinks she's going to have a pretty big year this year.
The 297 that she's hitting this year is actually the lowest of any of her 3 seasons so far. We're still plenty early in the year. Skies this one up, shallow center field. Jenna Laird, the shortstop with the snag, and Mizzou is 2 outs away from an SEC opening night win.
It almost feels as if Lauren Krings has gotten stronger as the game has gone out, as the game has gone on. She's still pitching in that upper 60s to low 70 range. She's still spotting the corner, a really, really good job. And she has done an amazing job so far today, even though still giving up those 2 runs, but she's found ways to shut down this Auburn lineup.
8 strikeouts. She's mixed in the flyouts and the ground ball outs. Throws a first pitch strike here to Isis Tresvik. Started the day with a 4-pitch walk, Brooke, and after that you're thinking, uh-oh, what kind of day might this be? But since then, she has been locked down.
And again, only those 2 hits given up for those 2 runs. 1 giving up on a walk as well, but has done a really good job so far at keeping these Auburn batters off balance with that changeup, that drop ball, that rise ball. And the Auburn batters just haven't made enough adjustments to get to her.
Yeah, Tresvik grounds out to Daly at 3rd. 2 down here in the top of the 7th.
Number 66, Annabelle Widmer.
Annabelle Widra, the pinch hitter, senior from Hoover, Alabama, at the plate for Auburn. And as it sits now, she serves as the final hope. With 2 down in the top of the 7th. Way out in front of the first pitch, off speed from Krings. It's 0-1. Check swing, but she went around quickly. 0-2.
Pinch hitter put in, and Coach Anderson calls 2 changeups in a row. That is unfair with a changeup as good as Lauren Krings is. And that last one in the dirt too, it's so hard to tell.
0-2, crowd here at Mizzou Softball Complex to their feet. Cold strike 3 on the outside corner. Lauren Krings goes complete game, 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, and Missouri on the opening night of SEC play takes down Auburn 5-2.
We saw a little bit of everything today. We had great pitching out of Lauren Krings. We had the long ball out of Kara Daly and Julia Crenshaw. We had walks, we had strikeouts, and we had so much fun here today on the opening day of SEC weekend.
9 strikeouts for Lauren Krings, allowed just 2 runs. They came on back-to-back batters in the 4th inning. Aside from that, home run.
Julia, you're tied 2-2. The ball hits the bat. What's going through your mind?
Please stay fair. I mean, I knew I hit it well, but it was kind of tailing, so I was just hoping it would stay fair.
What was the reaction like from the dugout?
Oh, man, we were hype. You know, last year Auburn swept us, and so I think this series is just looking for revenge.
Yeah. What does this look like going into the rest of the weekend?
Oh, I think it's definitely like a tone setter. To get game 1, it's always nice. So just making sure we come out here tomorrow and just have the same mindset, same focus to get it done right.
Well, congratulations. And then Coach, what does this first SEC win look like?
I mean, every first win is great to get it out of the way. I feel really proud, great energy that we had. Had great swings. I think Crenshaw, that was probably the best performance I've seen in the batter's box and also behind the plate. Like, she did an unbelievable job with Lauren Krings today.
What were the key factors that led to this victory?
Swinging at good pitches. I think, we were on time, and that's the big thing, that we were aggressive early in the count because Penta's an amazing pitcher. She's an All-American, and we want to be aggressive early, and we did that. We jumped all over her mistake.
How do you carry this momentum going into tomorrow?
It's good to get that first win, but again, this doesn't carry over to tomorrow. Tomorrow's a whole new game, so we got to come out. We have to have that same composure, that same level of focus and discipline, and it's a whole new ball game.
Well, thank you, Coach. Thank you.
And my Z.
All right, thank you. Back up to you, Noah.
Thanks, Coach.